Miss Layton failed to appear for her hearing. I think it was December 1st. And she's filed a motion to set aside the default judgment. In order to set aside a default judgment, you need to have a meritorious defense and good cause for not showing up. I'm not sure we have either of those things here. The default entered on December 1st. We found that she owes $4,054 in rent, $131 in other costs, $194.20, for a total of $4,379.58. Or she was subject to evicted after December 11th. She filed this motion to set aside the default December 10th. So, Ms. Layton?
Yes, sir.
I think you're mostly asking for a delay rather than, do you deny that you owe $4,000 worth of rent?
No, I don't deny that. I just really wanted to get that court date basically rescheduled because I didn't mean to miss it. Like I said, I'm usually good about getting on my court case and everything, but I had all that stuff happen with Indiana and then the accident that I just had court for with you the other day. So I just got very overwhelmed and lost track. My notebook that I had with the date on it got misplaced out of my car. So by the time that I did find out what day it was, they said, okay, well, you can file the motion against it, but I didn't have $20 yet, which is why I got filed on the 10th.
All right. Well, do you have a plan to either pay the rent or move out?
Yeah, so Neighborhood Inc. is doing my intake today at 3:00. So she said since I filed that motion, because I went in that week when you guys had already had that motion filed. So she said since I have more time now, she can do my intake, and then I filed my SCR. So I have everything filed in a motion for that. And I go today to talk to speak more with her, but she said that she was glad that I did come in because I can get the help. So she's doing my intake at 3 today, and then I find more out.
All right, well, let me tell you a couple of things. In order to cure this, you have to pay the entire amount of the rent. Partial payment will not prevent the writ of eviction. And and on January 1st, another month's rent is going to be due. So you're going to owe about $5,000. So let's say Neighborhood Inc. gives you $3,500. You're still responsible for paying the balance, or you're still subject to being evicted. Absent this motion you filed, you would have been subject to eviction December 11th. And now we're 8 days past that date. It is easier to keep a good tenant in there than to move one out and move another one in, but they have a waiting list. They have people waiting for your apartment. And people tell me every week I would move if I had somewhere to move to. So having said all that, Mr. Fleeman, do you have a position on this?
Your Honor, my position is that in the absence of a meritorious defense even having been listed on the form, I'm not sure why this was scheduled for a hearing. But because it was scheduled for a hearing, we now find ourselves at December 19th, a full month after the first hearing and a couple of months after the thing was filed. And when, as you very correctly point out, January is right around the corner. We're going to be at roughly $5,400 at that point. And I don't know if any agency is making that type of a payment. And when we were here last time, she was waiting on a nursing job. No, when we were here on November 17th, she was waiting on a nursing job. And I don't know if that job came through, but I don't see any way that this is going to get caught up. And I think essentially Ms. Layton is just buying time for the sake of buying time and costing the landlord more money, in the form of lost rent that they are never going to see again. So as such, I would ask that the order of eviction be entered now.
Well, I'm not trying to buy more time. I also just have.
Exactly. I'm glad he just came out and said it, because apparently they were already there a month ago and the balance is building up. So at this point, she's gone ahead and made the executive decision that she's going to try to stall it out. But meanwhile, she's not actually paying anything on it. And she's just allowing it to continue to accrue. And this is why I say how you do little things is ultimately going to be how you do big things, because she's late on her payments. She's delinquent on her balance. And she had a court date where she could have fought it out and definitely got it stalled. They do that all the time. But what happened? She just didn't show up. And if you know anything about court, the easiest way for them to be able to do you however they want to do it, for the brothers, that comes in the form of child support court or maybe divorce court. But because this happens to dues all the time. But the easiest way for them to just be able to work you and railroad you through the system is just don't show up. Don't show up if you want to. They're gonna run you through the ringer, and you have no idea. You're not gonna have no idea what even happened, but you're gonna feel it though.
Had a lot going on, like I said. So I was trying to actually get the assistance that you guys tell us to try to get. So, and I didn't get that nursing job, but I do have a job lined up for specialized staffing. I go in today once I found a reliable babysitter. So it's just a lot going on. I also have my 3 kids, and I was left with just being the responsible sole parent to just them, which is why I got behind anyway. So.
All right, well, there's 2 problems, Miss Layton. One is you don't have a meritorious defense. You owe the money.
Yeah, I know.
So that's one problem. You're supposed to submit an affidavit of meritorious defense, but I have set this for hearing anyway on a day Mr. Fleeman was going to already be here. We had the first hearing, as you mentioned, in November, and then we had the second hearing December 1st. So the first issue is there is no meritorious defense. The second issue is there's no good reason for failing to appear other than you forgot. If you were in the hospital or you were incarcerated someplace or that sort of thing. But so they're asking me to deny your motion to set aside default at the time to grant it, which means they could seek to evict you today. I was hopeful perhaps you'd at least give till the first of the year to seek the eviction. But they haven't actually filed for it.
Stop, please.
All right. Are you with me?
Yeah, sorry, I had to get my son situated.
Are you with me, Kira? All right. The motion to set aside default is denied. I would suggest you have Neighborhood Inc. help you to see if they can help you pay your rent on another place. But there's problems when you get evicted from a place like this. It may make you ineligible for other federal subsidized apartment placements. So this is a...
Oh, she's on subsidized? So it sounds like she's on Section 8.
real deal. And Mr. Fleeman, as a practical matter, probably no eviction is going to take place until the first of the year anyway. It's Friday. I haven't got the writ yet. I'm here Monday and Tuesday. I'm gone the 26th. I'm not sure what Sergeant Morse's plan is. But Ms. Layton, the motion to set aside default is denied. The plaintiff is going to submit a writ of eviction.
So is there a way that...
Neighborhood Inc. is not going to give you $5,400. My suggestion would be you take what resources you have and try to find another place to move to. But they followed the steps. They've been trying to get you to move since September. I don't know when the notice to quit was filed.
September 11th.
And so no rent has been paid September, October, November, December. And as I said, they have a waiting list of people that want to move in. So I would stay in contact with my manager. Also, when you move, you need to turn in the keys and give your forwarding address within 4 days of moving in writing. You need to turn in the keys and give your forwarding address within 4 days of moving. As it is, the matter's been deferred. You were eligible for eviction after December 11th. It's now December 19th. And as a practical matter, probably no eviction would enter until the 1st of January. So you've delayed it 20 days or so, but they've been asking you to pay the rent or move since September, and the 11th hour and 59th minute and 59th second, the clock just hit midnight. And Mr. Fleeman, you can submit a writ of eviction. Ms. Layton, I would...
Since September. Keep in mind, y'all, this is fairly recent. You know, he was talking about we're going to be out of court on the 26th and all this, because this is happening pretty much like this week or last week, December. Today is Christmas, if you couldn't tell. So what this ultimately comes down to, she's been playing games for all this time, and now you want a little bit of leeway. But this is what happens when you do people wrong and when you try to be slick, because she tried to be slick. It's basically, okay, well, until this is resolved or whatever the case, she hasn't paid a dime, apparently, allegedly. So now, nobody's going to give you any leeway because they know how you tried to manipulate the system in your favor. instead of just doing the right thing when you're already getting subsidized housing. Play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes. And now it ultimately appears that she's going to lose her subsidized housing moving forward. And like they said, see, I didn't catch it at the beginning. I heard them say they had a waiting list. I just thought it was a nice home. But see, they were talking about that Section 8 waiting list. And oh yeah, it's a long waiting list. And, you know, they can do a lot better than somebody just not paying nothing for all this time. We know that.
Call Neighborhood Inc. and tell them you need help finding a place to go. And I would suggest you stay in contact with your manager. But
So
that's the best I've got.
Is there
Yes.
a set date yet, or could I be out by the 1st, or is there something that I could work out with their attorney to, if I'm out by
All
this
right. Well, I
date?
don't know. Are you willing to give her until January 2nd to vacate?
I really have nothing planned out yet. Just me and my 3 kids.
Yes.
Your Honor, I think you're right. As a practical matter, even if I send it in today and you sign it on Monday, I don't believe that the officer will be there by that time, but he might be there right on the 2nd. That's possible. I do not know what his schedule is, and I don't have authority to give any additional time. And Your Honor, you made a really good point. This started in September. This is not a surprise. This started a long time ago. So I think that the plaintiff is probably not going to give me authority to stretch it out longer. They've waited long enough.
All right. Well, you can assume that perhaps nothing's going to happen at least until after Christmas. But
Right.
you're right. This has been delayed for months. So, Miss Layton, you should, with some urgency, try to and stay in contact with your manager. It's highly likely they'll give you until January 2nd.
Can you
It's a
stop
lot
on
easier
the
to have
phone?
somebody
No.
move out than have somebody move in. But this didn't go away because you ignored it, and here it is. So I wish you the best. Stay in contact with your manager. When you leave, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days.
So as of right.
Yes, that's a sad story, but she put herself in that position.
That is correct, Your Honor. I mean, I don't normally like to take out that hard of a line, but enough's enough. And so we'll see. Thank you. And actually, I have another one. I have others with you. Are you going to be ready for those? Not till 9:15.
You see what happens, man? When it's people can be sympathetic, empathetic for you. You know, if you have kids and if you have a situation going on. But when you intentionally and manipulatively try to then get over on people and you just try to hoard all your money for yourself and you don't even make an attempt to try to get caught up or to try to work with them, then I really don't understand how people can have the gall. And, you know, see, I have pride. Shoot, I'll just fall on my shield if I know I did somebody wrong like that. But I noticed a lot of people in destitute situations sometimes, keyword, but a lot of that we review, they'll do people wrong. And then all of a sudden, when they need some help, like they have no problem asking, but asking from the people that they wronged. And you'll try to remind them like, don't you remember this? And then they won't want to take no accountability. They won't want to address it. But then they'll have no problem still having the audacity to try to make you feel bad that you won't help them after you already know what you did to me. Now it's not about what you did to me or, you know, the past dealings. Now it's just about, well, I got kids and this is that and the third. Well, then you need a village. And the way that you stay in good standing with the village is you don't betray everybody in the village. Before, that was literally why we as human beings are so social to the point to where any type of rejection, any type of critique, think about how it hits sometimes. Like even if you're a content creator and people in the comments, become a content creator and see at the beginning how when somebody leaves some negativity, when you're not acclimated to it yet, how you're like, you just really, you feel it biologically. It's because back in old times, man, if the majority doesn't like you in the village, they'll kick you out the village and you're going to go get eaten by wolves somewhere. We haven't evolved past that. But, you know, times are no longer like that necessarily. But I would say if you have a lot of self-inflicted wounds on yourself, then you might want to stay in the good graces of the people around you who you can fall on. Because when you have 3 kids, you're going to need a safety blanket at some point. And I'll leave it here because I think she has a safety blanket. I think all that money she wasn't paying, I think she has it tucked away, stashed away somewhere. So I think she'll be okay. I just think she's just trying to get a little bit more time so she can really comfortably make the transition. But let's leave it there for today. Y'all like the video. Also subscribe if you want to join the Legion. Also, if you want to join the Patreon as well, it is linked in the description where I post self-improvement content on there. Until then, I'll catch you in the next video.